Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And once again, a fantastic summer day out across all of north central Washington today. And look at this dramatic shot from our Billy Goat camera. That's way up in Okanagan County, looking back down at where the Methow River meets the Columbia River at Pateros, a little farther up the middle part of your screen. That's Brewster there. And the brown contrast, the blue river and the blue sky makes for a beautiful shot today. A little hazy out there too. Keep in mind there are some prescribed burns happening around north central Washington. Nothing to worry about as far as wildfires go. Just some good burns today, and that is providing some of that haze. But what a day today. Temperatures very warm, but I'll tell you what, we haven't had a very warm summer. Look at this, all the way back to June 27th, all the way until a couple of days ago. All the areas in white and in blue below normal temperatures for the last 60 days, and we are right there in Washington State. As you can see in the top left corner of that map, almost all of Washington has been below normal the last 60 days. The only spot that's been above normal down in the southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, part of West Texas, and up into Colorado as well. But boy, all in all, the western U.S. has seen a very cool summer. But nothing cool about our forecast, and we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A suspect tried to escape police Monday afternoon by jumping into Moses Lake with her dog. And the State Department of Ecology says Lake Chelan is now crystal clear after crews cleaned up oil and gas that spilled last Friday when a car went into that lake. But first, we begin tonight. For the second time in less than a week, a recreational vehicle burst into flames in central Washington, this time on Interstate 90. Traffic was stopped in both directions about 7 o'clock Monday night while firefighters responded to the fire. It's about 7 miles west of Ellensburg. Trooper John Bryant of the Washington State Patrol said the recreational vehicle was being hauled eastbound by a semi. The westbound lanes were quickly reopened, but eastbound traffic was stopped for more than an hour. One driver, apparently tired of waiting, tried to force his way through the backup by splitting the lanes and driving on the shoulder. Bryant said that person was arrested for drunken driving. Last Friday, another motorhome caught on fire near the summit of Blewett Pass. Well, a suspect tried to escape police Monday afternoon by jumping into Moses Lake with her dog. The chase began when Moses Lake police were investigating a theft report in the 800 block of Stratford Road. They found Kaylee Wortham in the back seat of her car in a nearby parking lot with two dogs. When asked to step out of the car, Wortham reportedly crawled into the front seat and sped off. She finally stopped at Broadway and Highway 17, where she grabbed one of the dogs and jumped into the lake. The dog quickly swam to shore while fire crews from Grant County were able to eventually fish Wortham from the lake. She was charged with eluding police and violating parole, but was not implicated in the initial theft report. Well, the State Department of Ecology says Lake Chelan is crystal clear again after crews cleaned up oil and gas that spilled last Friday when a car went into the lake. Absorbents and a boom were removed from the lake Monday afternoon as cleanup work was completed. 58-year-old Lisa Gladwell of Chelan was arrested on suspicion of drunken driving after driving her 2007 Chevy Trailblazer into the lake Friday night off Highway 150. 7 quarts of oil and about 5 gallons of gas leaked into the water. Well, coming up next, Lincoln Elementary School students received a special welcome as they began the new school year this morning. For the first time, Wenatchee High School is implementing a new policy that requires cell phones be kept either in the student's backpack or in a storage container during class. And it will be a different kind of emphasis patrol statewide on Labor Day weekend, this time targeting stand-up paddleboarders. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in north central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Some jobs are a calling. They take passion and a devotion to the community. They're here for your kids, guiding the next generation of leaders. At Giza Credit Union, we help you support local teachers. Every purchase you make with a Giza Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select teacher organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little with the Giza Teachers Affinity debit card.
Welcome back. In other news, Lincoln Elementary School students received a special welcome as they began the new school year this morning. NCWLIFE Steve Hare reports that teachers and staff came to school this morning wearing T-shirts with the message, "I will be your friend."
The shirts are part of a nationwide anti-bullying campaign that was started earlier this month by a Florida first grader who wanted to send a message of friendship to his classmates. Lincoln principal Tim Shepard said it's a comforting way to get the new school year off to a good start. First day of school, here we are.
First day of school, here we go.
Lincoln Elementary School, Tim Shepard is our principal, and kids are coming to school with a whole new message for the new term.
That's right. We want everyone to have a friend. We know how important relationships are, and with adults, but also with each other. And so if kids need a friend, I want to be your friend. And that's how again, we'll develop relationships because we know that's the foundation for being comfortable for learning.
Obviously, this has become kind of a nationwide movement.
I think it has, yeah. We're really focusing on hope this year. Hope that every kid could be successful, no exceptions, and so that's what we're working for.
Tell you what, Wenatchee School District's growing by leaps and bounds, and noticed you have a very diverse population here.
We do. We have all a whole bunch of kids with different needs, with different strengths, with different families, and we love it. We love the diversity. In fact, we think that makes us more powerful instead of less powerful.
So obviously, that message of the welcoming message is even more important in a diverse population like this.
Absolutely, and it's not just now; it's every day, all day long, and throughout the year, because we all want to feel comfortable. We all want to feel safe.
It was also the first day of school for newly hired Wenatchee Public Schools Superintendent Paul Gordon. He joined the Lincoln school staff in welcoming kids back to school.
Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing? Happy first day of school. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Happy first day of school.
I'm Steve Hare for NCWLIFE News.
And as we mentioned, the new school year is underway in the Wenatchee School District, and for the first time, the school is implementing a new policy, the high school that is, that requires cell phones be kept either in the student's backpack or in a storage container. That's all during class rather than in a back pocket or in the desk. Wenatchee High School Principal Eric Anderson says the new policy eliminates the temptation and the distraction that goes along with the cell phone use. He says in the past, every time a student's phone received a notification, that created a distraction for that individual student. Many students then feel compelled to look at and to respond to that notification. The intent is to support students in their academic success, remove major temptation and distraction, and promote face-to-face interaction and connection. Students will be allowed access to their phones between classes and at lunchtime. Well, it'll be a different kind of emphasis patrol statewide on Labor Day weekend, this time targeting stand-up paddleboarders. The Chelan and Okanagan County Sheriff's offices are reminding paddleboarders that by state law, everyone 12 and younger must be wearing a life jacket, and everyone older than that must carry an approved life jacket. Paddleboards are also required to have a white navigation light in low visibility, such as dusk to dawn, and a sounding device like a horn, whistle, or a bell. Each violation carries a separate $99 fine. 4 stand-up paddleboarders have died this year in Washington State, all in western Washington. According to the Washington State Parks boating program, none were wearing life jackets. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Only one dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community, and that's pretty useful for everyone. Make plans to attend the August 30th grand opening of the all-new Goodwill on Columbia Center Boulevard in Kennewick.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, producer Caitlin Heddersheet brings us the story of a local coach who was working to help transform the lives of veterans and soldiers all across the country.
To be able to start at one place, transition into your new normal, and to achieve such a high level of success, that has to be so gratifying and just so life-affirming. It's just, it's an honor and privilege to be a part of that as well. My name is Atiba Wade, and I am the head coach for Team Army's Warrior Care and Transition Unit.
U.S. Army Warrior Care and Transition focuses on adaptive sports as a vehicle for transition for the wounded, injured, and ill soldiers and veterans returning from duty. A lifelong swimmer, Atiba has traveled nationally and internationally to swim and coach with a variety of athletes.
Well, the beauty of what I do is I have the opportunity to work with everyone, and I've worked with children from Learn to Swim, adults learn to swim, children that are advanced athletes, well, advanced swimmers, and adults that are advanced swimmers, and everything in between. What makes this opportunity so unique is the individuals that I work with are unique. They are transitioning into their new normal or transitioning out of their military life into civilian life. There's something that they're transitioning into or out of. And when you're used to having a certain familiarity with yourself, it can be a little bit unsettling, it can be a little bit discouraging, it can even be a little bit depressing when you have this new skill set. So being able to introduce the athletes to their new normal through swimming, I really have to creatively apply my skill set, and that has made me a better coach and definitely a better person. Swimming is a very honest sport. It's a very humbling activity, it's a very humbling endeavor, but the thing that makes it great, it's a skill, well, it's a sport that can actually save your life. That's one. And the principles that you have to apply in the water definitely apply to life.
In 2016, Atiba says a friend who was coaching in the Care and Transition Unit called him and told him there was an opening. After coaching at a camp first to test the waters, Atiba says it was a perfect fit.
By far, this is the most rewarding work that I do. Being able to work with our soldiers and veterans who fight for our country and stand up for the things that make this country great, being able to work with them and help them with my highest level of skill, which is coaching, being able to do that is truly an honor and a privilege.
Through this program, athletes from all branches of the military are gearing up for the Warrior Games each year.
Well, the great thing about the Warrior Games is that there is something for everyone. It is basically like an Olympic-style competition for adaptive sports. We have not just swimming, but we have track and field, we have shooting, we have rowing, we have archery, wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball, wheelchair rugby, golf. There's so many events, there's so many opportunities for people not just to compete, or for the soldiers and veterans to compete, but for the general public to come and actually help in the celebration and in the support of the soldiers and veterans who have overcome so much to be here. To be able to take a soldier or veteran who has had issues with drugs, or who has PTSD, or who has a traumatic brain injury, or has to learn about their new normal with their new bodies. That is what this is all about. So being able to work with each person, they have their own story, and it just makes every experience so worthwhile.
A program from the Department of Defense, the Warrior Games has seen many successful para-athletes go on to compete in the Paralympics. At the end of the day, Atiba says it's all about supporting the men and women who put their lives on the line. What's his approach to coaching these veterans?
It's a simple answer. You treat people like people. You recognize everyone's humanity. You look them in the eye when you speak to them, and you just go from there. It's nothing complicated. Just have compassion, have empathy, and be passionate. The soldiers and veterans, when they come home, they need our support. And to be able to support them in any way you can, be it financial, be it volunteering your time, whatever it is that you can do to enhance the quality of these brave men and women that have given so much to us, I would encourage the public to do that.
Participants in the Warrior Games can go on to compete in 9 adaptive sports in an international event created by Prince Harry called the Invictus Games. To learn more about warrior care and transition with the U.S. Army, visit wct.army.mil or find them on social media. I'm Caitlin Hedersheet, NCWLIFE News.
Time now for a check of your north central Washington weather forecast, and taking a look outside our weather window today up in Okanogan County. Today's high temperature 88 degrees. That's unofficial high temperature. That's 5 degrees above where we should be at 83 now is our normal. 58 normal low temperature right in the ballpark there. We started off the day at 57. Record high for the second day in a row was set back in 2011. Today's temperature at 96 degrees. Record low 1960 at 47 degrees. Still at 4.73 inches of precipitation since January 1st. Sunrise 6:13 and the sun will set tonight at 7:51. Taking a look at how our Wednesday hump day forecast will shape up. Get ready for a scorcher tomorrow. Possibly record-setting highs around most of north central Washington. 96 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 95 in Quincy and in Wenatchee, 92 down in the Ellensburg area, even 92 degrees up in Leavenworth, 93 for you folks in Chelan, and a scorcher in Omak tomorrow at 94 degrees. So keep in mind, that's about 12 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Tonight's forecast and our surface loop over the next 7 days calling for clear skies tonight, calm winds and mild. These colors are cloud bases. The light green that you see right here, about 5,000 feet. The red cloud tops, that's about 500 feet. We're not going to see a lot of clouds as we get into Wednesday, though. We will see increasing clouds late in the day, and boy, is it going to get hot tomorrow. As we mentioned, possibly record-setting temperatures all over north central and eastern Washington. Dark red and orange colors in eastern Washington. Thursday, not much change. Partly cloudy skies, light wind and hot, but there is a little bit of a storm system that will develop in the southwestern part of Washington tomorrow, all around an area of low pressure. But will it move enough north to bring us an isolated shower? We'll have to wait and see by Thursday afternoon. Friday, though, to end our week, sunny, still unseasonably hot for this time of year. We'll see temperatures once again in the lower 90s all over eastern and central Washington. Saturday, same story. stories. Sunny skies, still hot. Area of high pressure all the way down in California, dragging that warm air right into Washington state. But an area of low pressure just off the coast of British Columbia will bring a few more clouds our way by Sunday, and that means just slightly cooler temperatures as we finish the upcoming weekend. We're talking mid to upper 80s still, and then Monday as we get into our next work week, partly cloudy, slightly cooler, isolated showers all over Washington state by the time we get into Monday. That's usually what follows the hot weather, so we'll have to wait and see if we do pick up some showers and thunderstorms as we move into next week. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast, your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight we'll drop down to 63 degrees for our overnight low. There's that scorcher for tomorrow, 95, possibly record-setting heat all across our area. Thursday 92, 92 as well for Friday, 91 Saturday, and then we begin to cool down, and by Monday, partly cloudy and cooler with a high then of 86 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hi everyone, this is Brent Crowder. After 13 years with the Town Auto Group, I have returned home to Town Toyota where it all started. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, let me help you find the right one at the right price. Toyota is reliable and trustworthy, and you can count on me to be the same. When it comes to buying your next car, you can't go wrong with Toyota and Crowder. Ask for Brent at Town Toyota or call me now at 888-5000.
My first experience with CVCH, I had to come in with my daughter by myself with a cut in my hand that required stitches. And the care and compassion at CVCH was really significant, that they took the care and compassion and made me feel more as a human instead of just a patient there. The care they have for their community all around, inside and outside the clinic, is what I feel like is different. And that's what makes me want to come back to CVCH and recommend them to my friends and family.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. The West Coast League is out with its all-league selections, and 9 members of the Wenatchee Apple Sox were listed. Pitcher Jake Somm was the only Wenatchee player to make the All-WCL first team. Second team selections for the Apple Sox were catcher Hunter Montgomery, shortstop Cody Darcy, and outfielder Ryan Altenberger. All West Coast League honorable mentions went to Wenatchee's Blake Klassen, Cody Colden, Seth Kuykendall, and Cole McKenzie. Corvallis slugger Briley Knight was chosen the West Coast League's MVP. The Knights' Tevette Gerber was picked the pitcher of the year, and coach of the year honors went to Brooke Knight of the Corvallis Knight, his 6th time receiving that award. Well, keeping with the baseball theme, a 4-run second inning helped the Yankees top the Mariners 5-4 at T-Mobile Park last night. Mike Ford hit a 3-run homer in the second inning and then a solo shot in the 4th off the starter Tommy Malone to lead New York. Malone dropped to 3-8 on the season with a loss, allowing 5 runs on 8 hits with 1 strikeout and 2 walks. Dylan Moore tried to answer for Seattle with a 3-run homer in his second long ball in as many nights, but the Mariners could only muster 4 hits against 5 Yankee pitchers, struck out 14 times. The win went to J.A. Happ, who went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs on 2 hits and 7 strikeouts. 2 teams back at it again tonight to T-Mobile Park. Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees facing the Mariners' Yusei Kikuchi. Also in the American League West on Mondays, we checked the Les Schwab scoreboard. Marcus Semien had a 3-run home run and collected 7 RBIs as Oakland pounded Kansas City 19-4. The A's had 22 hits in the game, 4 of which home runs, scored in every inning but the first. We continue our fall football preview on the NCWLIFE channel now with the Cascade Kodiaks and Coach Dom Coffin. Coach Coffin will have his quarterback returning for his 2nd year behind center and says he's expecting big things from Cole Warnica this season.
Should have a really good year this year. He's worked really hard this offseason, putting in a lot of time on his own outside camps and different things like that. He had a great camp at Eastern, which was awesome to see, so we're really excited.
You were telling me that he worked a lot on his own. He went to quarterback camps, that type of thing?
Yeah, went to quarterback camps, went over to Seattle to Team USA camp, and then ended up going down to, I think it was San Antonio, got invited to the national camp down there.
Okay. He's a tall kid, a little stringy, though. Has he been able to put a few pounds on in the offseason?
Yeah, he's pretty big right now. I want to say he's probably around 210, 6'3", so he's worked really hard. He was one of those kids, even during basketball season, he was in the weight room at 6 a.m. getting a good lift, even if it was game day. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring.
So now behind him and outright, you had a receiver last year in Dayton, but you say you're going to change his role a little bit this year?
Yeah, Isaiah will probably be our main feature back in the backfield with Warnica. Him and Teague Duncan will kind of be taking the main majority of our carries, but also have Wyatt Lambert, Ben Sunich, Cody Enlow, and Julian Alvarez will be taking some of those carries as well.
Now, Coach Coffin says the goals for his team start this season with their rivals down the Wenatchee River.
Their number one goal, they said, was they wanted to beat Kashmir, and so, that's just one thing with them. They keep that rivalry, and it's good to see the rivalry. It really is something, reminding kids, well, your number one goal is to beat Kashmir. Let's go compete. And number two was win a state championship and, win in league and had their steps to being able to take that. And then the third one was just to be able to come closer as a family and become more of that Cascade tradition.
Meanwhile, Kashmir's Brian Bremer is entering his second year as head coach and trying to work at creating a culture of his own making after following in the footsteps of the legend Phil Zakowski.
Yeah, off-season was really good for us. A lot of kids in the weight room. But again, these kids are continuing to buy into a different culture. We do things unique out here. I mean, we are running gun offense, but we are a very upbeat culture. And it takes kids to get out of their shells in order to buy into that. In my program, you have to get outside your comfort zone and be ready to bring positive energy every single day. And some kids, that's really tough. So had a lot of really good buy-in. Really happy with where we're at right now.
Now, wait a minute. You sound like you have lost your voice recently. Is that part of this culture that you're creating?
Yeah, 100%. Again, I have a lot of teachers and family members that say, why you keep yelling at these kids too loud and you lost your voice. And it's my own fault because I got music blaring all practice, and so I'm screaming over the music. It's not that I'm screaming at the kids. I'm just trying to get over my own music that I'm playing. So, yeah, it's my own fault.
Talk about, speaking of music, this whole thing that went viral last year, you guys are waiting out a lightning delay. What happened there? Because, all we're seeing is Kashmir kids singing in the weight room.
Yeah, that was a really fun experience. I'll never forget that. That was my first home football game here as the head coach. And, lightning delay. Our coaches go in the locker room, and we're talking, and we open the door up to the weight room to give some kids some instructions, and they got music blaring, and they're all singing Country Road, Take Me Home, and it was one of those most cool experiences I've ever been around. And it was completely just player-led. And again, we were talking about energy, and that's just a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids without any adults around, just having a blast, and that's what I want.
Fun moment for Brian Bremer at his second year of coaching now at Kashmir football. By the way, high school football season begins a week from Friday. We'll have more in our football preview tomorrow on the NCWLIFE channel, including Coach Bremer and Coach Coffin's predictions for the Caribou Trail League. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
And thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us.
NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and other stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. and the arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.